6 mistakes that 99% of real estate agents make when they advertise on Facebook, and how the top 1% of real estate agents make a killing. I'm going to show you exactly how they do it, the exact mistakes I see most real estate agents make. 89% of advertising spend by real estate agents is going towards online advertising, and a lot of that money is ending up on Facebook. Now, just because a lot of real estate agents are advertising on Facebook doesn't mean that many real estate agents are doing it right. I speak to and I go and meet with them, find out a little bit more about how they work on the back end. Even real estate agents that are spending quite a bit of money with their ad agencies, they don't even know how many leads they're getting from Facebook. Their ad agencies are showing the impressions and the clicks. I've been privileged enough to speak to real estate agents who are actually making a killing on Facebook. This is a very small percentage of the real estate agents I speak to. I'm going to show you exactly what they're doing right, and I'm going to show you what the real estate agents that are making mistakes are doing wrong. It's not like I read an article somewhere in the field research that's not available anywhere else. And by the time you finish watching this video, you're going to know a lot of techniques that even the top Facebook advertising agencies don't know and don't use. And implementing these techniques is going to save you tens of thousands of dollars on your ad spend. Number one, spy on your competitors, but don't assume they know what they're doing. So Facebook's ad transparency initiative basically means that you can view anybody's advertisement. You can see what ads your competitors are running now and in the past. All you have to do is go to your competitor's Facebook page, scroll down and click on See All in the transparency section, and then click on Go to Ad Library. Or you can go to realestate.com.au and you can see all the ads they've ever run. There's a whole ton of them that spend hundreds of thousands of dollars, probably millions of dollars advertising on Facebook every year. You can see exactly what they're doing. You can see what ads they're running consistently, what ads they've stopped running. You can also go to the top real estate agency in your city. So this is a great way to start with to see what's working for other agencies. But before you do, there's two things to keep in mind. Number one, not every company is going to have the same strategy as you. So realestate.com.au, they're not really even a real estate agency. They're more of a portal. Okay, so the ads that they're running are not going to be as relevant to what you're doing. Okay, still good to get inspiration, but don't just copy what they're doing. And the second thing is, just because a large real estate agency that you know is successful is running a particular Facebook campaign does not mean that Facebook campaign is successful. I see this all the time when I speak to and meet with real estate agents who are running Facebook campaigns. A lot of times they just give a bunch of money to a Facebook advertiser. Creative copy, the campaigns aren't really that great, but people think they are because don't assume that a large real estate agency has the best campaigns. In fact, what I found is it's usually the single agents that usually have the best campaigns because they have the most freedom to try new ideas and do different things that bigger real estate agencies may not be comfortable with getting all the stakeholders in the company on board for. So speaking of advertising agencies, number two, stop treating Facebook like a magazine. Most people that advertise on Facebook still think of it as a magazine. So what do I mean by this? Well, if you could advertise in a magazine and I told you that you could either have a still photo, okay, or you could have a video playing in a magazine, which one would you pick if it was the same price? Well, especially advertising agencies like the traditional magazine format. They find out how big the images should be for Facebook. They write out some text and bang, there's your advertisement. But the problem is the cost to have a video ad and a photo ad is exactly the same. Actually, having a video ad is 7 times cheaper than having a photo ad. In fact, in knowing this, why would you not use video? But Facebook doesn't just have video ads. They have gallery ads and also experience ads. It gives you a lot of options to try something different. And if you're thinking, I don't have the budget to do some 30-second commercial, you don't have to. There's a lot of online tools where you can take a couple of photos of a home as an example and create a video gallery. Okay, it'll take you like 30 minutes to do. You don't need to create some Hollywood production. So pretty simple, use video. Number 3, stop giving fake value and instead start giving real localized value. What do I mean by this? When real estate agencies start advertising on Facebook, they'll go to a traditional Facebook advertiser and he'll say to them, you know what, you should create a report or you should create an ebook and give that out for free as value so people give you their details. And so you've got people that create these reports, these companies. And this is a real report from an Australian real estate agency. The 18 worst mistakes made by home buyers. If you're using these to advertise on Facebook, the problem is the market is flooded with real estate information. They don't work. When you create a generic report, sell your home, how to present your home, you're taking out your competitive advantage. And what is your competitive advantage? I'll tell you. Your competitive advantage as a real estate agent is that you know more about the area that you serve than anybody else. So the content that you provide should be relevant to that area specifically. And that's the value that you can give that's better than anybody else can. So for example, did you just sell a property that set a record in your suburb? Are you one of those hands-on real estate agents and you've just renovated a property and were able to help the seller sell that property for way above what they had expected to? That's great information. I want to know if that happened in my area. Okay. Or are you a property manager and you've just been able to optimize the rental yield on a property by doing some renovations? Again, if I own property in that area, I want to know about that. That's an example of real local value, real case study, information and data that's different to all this other stuff. 5 ways to present your home. Stay away from that stuff. And by the way, later on in this video, in the blueprint section, I'm going to show you how an agent does exactly this campaign that's been very successful. You're going to want to stick around for that. Okay. Number 4. Behold the power of the emoji. Okay? Plain text is boring. Your potential client is scrolling through Facebook. The last thing they want to do is read an ad. Getting your prospect's attention to actually get your message across to them is really important. One of the secret strategies that the top 1% of Facebook advertisers use is emojis. And these are these little graphical icons that you can put into your text. They're very rarely used by advertisers, but they're very effective. So as an example, what captures your attention more? Something like this, okay, where you got some bullet points with asterisks, or something like this. Okay, so you can see those little finger arrows. If you've just sold a property, you can actually have like a little bath and say it's a 2-bath property instead of just saying a little bed and say 3 bedrooms. So all these little icons, really easy to use. And there's a link that I will provide that you can go and see all the emoticons available. Simply put, just use emojis. Number 5, don't buck the Zuck. Please the Facebook Lord and keep people on Facebook. Mark Zuckerberg, if you don't know, if you've been living under a rock for the past 8 years, is the guy who runs Facebook. In order to be successful on Facebook, you have to understand Mark's philosophy on how advertising should work. And also, you need to understand how Facebook works on a technical level, the behind the scenes inner workings. People that understand how Mark Zuckerberg's brain works and also how the underlying AI software, the advertisers that understand how all of this works, how we separate the people that just go on Facebook and learn how to post an ad, real estate agents and Facebook advertisers that make millions of dollars every year consistently, year after year on Facebook, because they understand the game and they understand the rules. So what are those rules? I'm going to tell you right now, and you probably haven't heard of these, so pay close attention. First rule is tracking and segmenting. Mark Zuckerberg has created one of the most sophisticated tracking software. We're seeing just how much users engage with particular content. This is important for Mark Zuckerberg because he needs to show the most relevant content to users to make sure they stay on Facebook for longer, so that they spend more time scrolling and they see more ads, which makes Mark Zuckerberg more money. All those tools that Mark Zuckerberg has invented for tracking users is available to you as an advertiser. And I'm not just talking about the traditional, like, has someone clicked on my ad? Mark Zuckerberg can tell you if somebody has hovered over your ad, if somebody has clicked on read more to expand the text of the ad. If you have a video ad, you can actually see how many people have only watched 5 seconds, 15 seconds, how many people have watched 30 seconds. And you can actually take that information and create custom audiences based on that information. So for example, you can make a custom audience. Let's say you put on an ad, that's a 3-minute ad. You can make a custom audience of everybody who watched 30 seconds or more of that ad. So you can start building these audiences and retargeting to these audiences. And this is why it's important to start advertising on Facebook as early as possible. Even if you launch a campaign and it fails, you now have an audience who are interested, who did watch the video, who did read your ad. This audience is powerful because at the end of the day, most people need to see an ad like 7 times before they click, I believe is the statistic. Like, people need to get comfortable with your brand. Okay, rule 2 is ad variations and the underlying Facebook AI machine. Facebook doesn't have human editors per se that decide what should be shown to who. Instead, there is this big AI algorithm that works behind the scenes to decide what's most relevant for the user that's currently on Facebook. Those that understand how this algorithm works are able to ensure that their ads are so relevant and that they're shown all the time. Those that don't understand this Facebook algorithm, their ads very rarely show, and they usually pay the highest cost per click of any advertiser, and they get wiped out on Facebook. The secret is multiple data points. Rather than launching one ad, see how this ad does, what you want to be doing is you want to be launching 5 ad variations with 5 images. You might have 5 angles on which you can kind of hit the underlying message of the ad with 5 different text copy variations, 5 different images, and then you want to combine these into their own separate ads. It makes up a total of 25 ads, and then you feed that into the Facebook algorithm and let Facebook do its magic and using its algorithm to find the winner. So now, instead of just testing with 2 ads, one ad and seeing if it doesn't work, you're now testing 25 ads at the same time and letting Facebook come up with a winner. So most people, what they do is they create one ad, they put it on Facebook, it fails, of course, they sit back, they say, oh, that's unfortunate, let me try another one. And then they spend the next 1 year trying to figure out a successful ad. The third rule is keep them on Facebook. Use messenger ads. Whenever I see a real estate agent have an external link to an external landing page, I know that they're making a mistake and they're not having great results. If Facebook incentivizes advertisers that keep users on Facebook, and Facebook has a number of tools like lead ads and click to messenger ads that where your prospect can leave their details with the click of a button. What this does is it eliminates the friction. They don't have to enter their phone number, they don't have to enter their name because Facebook already has that information. All they have to do is click, yes, I want to give this advertiser my details. And because Facebook likes advertisers that keep people on Facebook, because by keeping people on Facebook, they can show more ads and make more money. So you're now working with Mark Zuckerberg instead of against him. And if you do it the way that he wants you to do it, he's going to give you the best relevancy. He's going to make sure that your cost per clicks are much lower, and it's going to be a win-win situation for everyone. Oh, and by the way, if someone gets in contact with you through a messenger ad, you don't just have their name or email, you have their life, where they went to school. All this stuff is useful. Anytime you want to contact them, you're much more likely to get through them on Facebook than a traditional email where they probably have 50 spam filters. Number 6, put yourself last, but do leave your deeds somewhere. Now, a lot of real estate agencies talk about themselves, how they help clients. They say, we're amazing, we do a great job, we can help you do this and this and that. Now, most Facebook advertisers will tell you that you shouldn't talk about yourself on Facebook. Nobody cares, and people aren't going to Facebook to read your ad. If you start your ad with the words "we are," you're already dead in the water. However, you should leave your details in the ad. When you have a video ad or a photo ad or a gallery ad, whatever ads you have on Facebook, you do have a right to leave your direct contact number in the image of the ad. Don't worry about your logo, it's secondary. But what you do want is you want your direct contact number, you want your direct email, and you want that within the image of your ad. Have it at the end, don't lead with that. And one of the advantages of that is if somebody is looking to sell their home or they just want to call you, they can just dial that number and you actually don't get charged for the click and all of this stuff. Somebody can get in contact with you directly, and that's really the ideal scenario, because if somebody calls you directly, you can immediately have a conversation with them. The Facebook ad has done its job. It's connected you with your prospect. Now, when you do include your phone number, please have a photo of yourself as well in that particular image. Don't have a photo of a building or, your logo as an agent. Even if you have like 30 agents, have one of your top agents photo and have their direct contact number okay? Because people want to speak to an agent. Would you like to see how all of these elements get put together to an ad that's actually very successful? And that's what I'm about to show you right now. So this is the practical case study section, how the top 1% of real estate agents do it differently. And we're going to look behind the scenes of a successful Facebook ad. So there's actually two ad variations with this. First one is a gallery ad and the second one is a video ad, but they're both pretty much exactly the same. The first thing with this ad that's really great is that it's using emojis. You can see it's using those finger arrows for the bullet points. It just engages people a little bit more. If somebody's scrolling through Facebook, they're just going to look at those fingers and they're going to say, oh, okay, what's going on here? Because it's not something that you see often. The second thing this ad is doing really well is it's giving real localized value. So in this particular case, this agent is saying, hey, I've just sold this property. We've gotten some really good results for it. It's sold in your area, okay? Because this ad is only going to show to people within this agent's area. Number one, the agent is saying, hey, look how great I am. I've been able to get, 5,400 views online. This is one of the agent's unique value propositions that he advertises properties on Facebook, which by the way, a lot of real estate agents don't do. He's talking about a lot of people that have come through the open home, which basically says, I'm able to get you a higher price because I have more people visiting the open home, more inquiries. The agent is really stressing that this is in this agent's area, which happens to be Karina Heights. And even in the picture, it tells you the street where the property was sold. So if you live in this area and you see this ad and you own a property and you're thinking of selling sometime in the future, you're going to say, oh, Cambridge Street, that's just up the road. I wonder how much that sold for. And by the way, the time of this ad is running, that data probably isn't even public. And this is like the most up-to-date prices in your neighborhood. This type of information, this type of ad is going to get you a person who is looking to sell their property in 6 months. Okay. Other ads where you're just like, I'm a great real estate agent. You might get someone who's looking to sell their property right now, but they're not going to get in contact with you if they're looking to sell within 6 months. But this way they are. And you'll also know this is not a big report or crazy ebook that's, 300 pages long. This is just a simple let me tell you how much I sold this property for. Giving value to a prospect doesn't have to be this crazy thing that you have to plan and make. It can be really simple. You don't have to be like the next big author of a real estate book to get people interested in engaging with you. The next rule, Facebook is not a magazine concept. You'll notice that this ad is not using the traditional image. The agent could have just used one picture of a property, okay, and said, we've just sold this, but he used a gallery and he also used a video ad. This is just because it captures people's attention. It's different to what most advertisers on Facebook are doing, which is just using a picture. Use the stuff that stands out because you're not paying anything more. It's not like in the newspaper where you had to pay more to get a color ad or something like that. You're paying the exact same to stand out. Not only that, you're probably paying less. And there's a lot of tools you can use to create a video gallery. It's not that difficult. Get in contact with me and ask me if you want to know some suggestions for tools. There's a lot of online tools that you can use without downloading any software whatsoever. He has these variations and he's allowing the Facebook algorithm to decide which variation is going to be more effective. There's something that Remy does in both of these ads that's very good though, and that's putting yourself last. Both of these ads at the very end, either the second to last or the last image, you have a photo of Remy and his direct mobile number. If I'm in the area and I'm actually interested in finding out the sales price of this property up the road, why don't I just give Remy a call directly and ask him? You want people to call you. He is putting his information in there, but he's not putting that front and center. He's not saying, look at me, I'm a real estate agent, here's my number, offering value, and then at the very end, putting his information, putting his direct number, allowing people to get in contact with him that way. And by the way, you want people to have a number of choices for how they do want to get in contact with you. Some people just like to pick up the phone and call. You want to give people choices, okay? You don't want to just tell people this is the one way you should do things. Now, the great thing about this ad is that you're casting as wide a possible net as possible, because some people may just be inquiring because they're curious. Not every prospect may be looking to sell within the next 6 months. You're going to get people who are looking to sell in 6 months, in a year's time with this type of ad, rather than just like, we're great, get in contact with us. Now, when someone does click on learn more in this ad, they're taken to a messenger ad. A messenger chat box pops up. There's a multi-step process that the person goes through to qualify themselves. By the way, if someone's not going to answer a couple of questions on your messenger ad, they're probably not going to sell their property with you. And if you are a real estate agent, stop using landing pages. An ad to messenger ad allows you to get information from your prospects really quickly. They just have to click on one button. Do you want to send this person your phone number? Yes. Like imagine if they're on their mobile, right? And they see this ad and they go to a landing page and they have to enter in all this. No one wants to do that. People will probably check out your website at some stage. In order to start that conversation, you should be starting it on Facebook. So that's it. We've gone over the biggest mistakes real estate agencies make. I've shown you a real case study that works based on my research of talking to a lot of real estate agents, seeing Facebook campaigns that are working really well, seeing Facebook campaigns that are not working. And I've also given you a blueprint for how you can start generating leads yourself as a real estate agent using the Facebook platform. And I hope I've given you some ideas, some inspiration. And the great thing about Facebook is you don't need $1 million. You can start with $1,000, start with $500. Take action, because every month you're not advertising on Facebook is another month that you're losing data on what works and what doesn't. It takes time to build that awareness, and you're going to have to do that at some point anyway. Give it some time, give it a couple of months, give yourself a chance. Thanks for watching. Good luck. Bye.